Oh, yeah. Welcome to another episode of the Tech Preacher Podcast, y'all. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to have some fun with this one here, and we're going to talk about foldables. We heard the announcement of some inside deep rumors that the Google Pixel Fold will get announced on May 10th. And I want to talk about it because maybe we're getting something wrong here. Maybe foldables ain't what we think it is, right? Maybe Google is making a mistake here, right? Especially when we talk about the price. We're going to get a little deep. My deep thoughts about the Google Pixel Fold and foldables, period, right? And I think some of us looking at foldables in the way that the manufacturers may not be looking at foldables, or maybe the manufacturers not looking at foldables as what we need to be looking at foldables, right? So let's get into it. Let me give you my thoughts about some of this stuff, right? So we heard that the Google Pixel Fold, right, will get announced on May 10th. And this is going to have a 7.6-inch inner display, 120 hertz, and it's going to have a 5.8-inch OLED display on the outer display. It's going to have the Google Tensor 2 chip in it, not the 3. It's going to have the Tensor 2 chip in it, 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage, no SD card support, Android 13 at $1,700 to boot, right? It's going to have a 3-camera setup, wide, ultra wide, and a zoom camera on it. We're going to also have a camera on the outer display and a camera on the inner display. So we don't know as far as the battery and all that stuff like that. But are we looking at foldables different though? Because I always thought and I assumed that foldable is supposed to be a one-stop shop. A foldable is supposed to replace, right, a lot of things, right? If you carry a foldable, that foldable device is supposed to be the one-stop shop for all your computing needs, all your phone needs, and all your play needs, and all your camera needs, right? And does these foldables do that? Whether or not it's going to be the Oppo, the Vivos, the Samsungs, and stuff like that. When I look at foldables, I look at foldables a little different. I look at foldables that if I carry a foldable, listen, I'm going to tell you this. I do carry 3 phones with me. I'm a tech enthusiast, yes, but if I wanted to carry one phone with me, I want that device to be a device that's going to complete my computing needs for business. I need that device to be a device for all other needs, right? Listen, are we buying foldables to open it up just to watch YouTube videos and movies? I mean, you could get a cheap tablet for that. I always thought that a foldable was supposed to, if you carry a foldable, that's supposed to be, again, a one-stop shop, right? And look, I give credit to the Galaxy Fold. I give credit to Samsung. And the reason why is because, listen, I'm partnered up with Samsung Business. And, when we talk about a one-stop shop device that I don't have to carry a laptop, I don't have to carry a pencil and paper, I don't have to carry, another device to shoot videos or maybe shoot photos, right? When we talk about that, we talk about a one-stop shop device, right? And I think Samsung have accomplished that. But again, the price on the Samsung is still extremely high, right? So when we look at the Pixel Fold, this is the first generation device. This is the first device that Google is releasing. Now, a lot of people say, well, easy. The camera's going to be spectacular. It's going to be the best cameras on the planet. But I mean, if you're buying a foldable for the cameras, I mean, buy a Pixel 6a for Christ's sakes if you want good cameras, right? And I say this again over and over and over. Sometimes it's not the phone that give you bad shots. It's the user. I always piggyback on the user. That one of the reasons why you get bad photos and bad video. Sometimes it's not the phone, it's not the device, it's the user. And the reason why I piggyback on the user is because I carry 3 phones. I carry the Z Fold 4, I carry the Tank, and I carry the V60. And listen, all 3 of those devices, I could get good photos. Even with the Tank, I could get good photos. You know why I could get good photos on the Tank? It's because I know how to shoot a photo. Now, a lot of people, they ain't got the best camera. Listen, man, I had a blind camera test. I had a blind camera test on my YouTube. If you didn't see the blind camera test, please go check it out. And in a blind camera test, unfortunately, the Galaxy S23 Ultra, which was in the blind camera test, did not do that well. It did okay, but it wasn't 99% of majority of people picks. It wasn't their picks. So I say, and we see this all the time, constantly, over and over and over. These high-end, top-tier devices that cost so much money. It's supposed to be the spectacular device. People brag on the cameras and brag on this and brag on that. When you put them in blind camera tests, why they don't win? And that's the whole thing. So when you take the name off of the product and you put it in the user hand, the user, at that point, it's all on the user to take that good photo, to take that good video. Now, of course, technology is different. Of course, we got devices with 1-inch sensors on it. Of course, we got a lot of things that's going on that help you handicap some people to make good photos. Listen, some of these devices, they use so much software to handicap the user to make a good shot. Think about this, right? Most people are not photographers and videographers, so they do rely on the device to do the majority of the work for them. And this is what the devices do. If you listen, the device itself does most of the work for you. It's a handicap. It's something that if you put a mirrorless camera or DSLR in front of a person and tell them to take a photo, right? That means they got to go in there, adjust their shutter speed. They got to adjust the aperture. They got to adjust this. They got to go to color profile. They have to either shooting raw. They got to shooting this and shooting that. They got to make all the adjustments. They got to focus. They got to do all of that on a mirrorless camera DSLR. That's a professional camera, right? But with the smartphone, it does it all for you. So when smartphones, algorithms, and software handicap the user, it's almost virtually impossible to get a bad shot out of most of these smartphones. If you get bad shots, it's not on the device. It's 9 times out of 10, it's on the user. Okay? It's on the user. And I say that, and I say this because I want to go back to talking about this Google thing, right? It's Google doing this. It's these foldables, right? What is the purpose of a foldable device? Is it a foldable device in our eyes that we just want a device that folds out? In the company eyes, they want to make a productivity device to be a one-stop shop. So you don't have to buy a tablet. You don't have to buy a laptop. You don't have to have a pencil and pen. You can have the experience of everything. If you're a business owner, or if you're a college student, or if you're a person that just like to do high-end gaming, or a person that just, want to do it all, you could do it all on some foldables, right? Not all foldables have these features. And the Google Pixel Fold will probably run into, this issue of not having certain features that's designed for certain people. And so when we look at the foldable, and I went and I looked online and I see the uproar. I see a lot of people getting upset over one issue, the price. Listen, price is everything. I don't care what nobody say. People could talk that crap all they want. Spending $2,000 on a smartphone, listen, that goes over a lot of people's heads right now. Like, man, look, I'm not paying $1,700. Listen, let's talk about this for a second. $1,700 to boot, and that's before taxes. I don't know where you live at, but I'm in the United States, 9%, 10% tax. So that thing will be $1,800 plus dollars after taxes, right? So $1,800. Then you talk about you got to get a case, right? Case go cost you $50, $60. You ain't buying no. Listen, you ain't buying no $2, $3 case for no almost $2,000 phone. So the case go cost you $50 to $75. So now you at $1,900 or $1,800 plus dollars at that. Well, $1,900 at that point. So if you round it up, you're almost at $2,000. So this device, almost $2,000 with 256 gigs of storage, no SD card support. Listen, it grinds my gills when I hear these companies putting 256 gigs on an almost $2,000 device. That's just absolutely nuts. But this is what we're seeing. Listen, I call Samsung out for it. I call a lot of companies out for it. Listen, a lot of people might say it's easy. I don't need no more than 256 gigs. But let me tell you something, man. If you go hold on to this device for years, 3 years, 4 years, or whatever, right? 256 gigs is just not enough. And of course, you could add more money to it to get to 512, and then you at the $2,000 price point when it's all said and done. Are you willing to pay almost $2,000 for a first generation device with a G2 in it and, stock Android? Let's talk about it. Listen, does the Google Pixel Fold, does the Oppos, does the Vivos complete the overall experience, right? Does it give you some type of mode where you don't have to use a laptop? Listen, I talk about this. Don't matter whether or not it's going to be the S23, S22, the Fold 2, the Fold 3, or the Fold 4, right? It gives me that overall experience. I do like the implementation that Samsung bring to the table for business users. And listen, I know a lot of people not business users. I know a lot of people ain't in college. I know a lot of people don't buy foldables to do business work. I understand that. I'm just in that category that when I want my device to replace devices. I don't want to carry a $2,000 smartphone, then carry a $2,000 laptop, then have to have a backpack that I got to have paper and pen to jot down notes. I mean, what the hell the foldable is designed to do, right? When I go to the coffee house and I sit down, I'm having my good cup of coffee, man. I want to sit down. I got my pen in my hand. I'm jotting down my notes, or if I'm out of town and I go to the hotel room, I can wireless desktop mode to the room's TV or the monitor that's available. I can get work done. I can use my device as a keyboard and mouse. I can jot down notes. I could get my payroll done. I could get all my business needs done and stuff like that, right? When I walk in my office, I got, 2 monitors set up, or actually 3 monitors set up. When I'm wirelessly connected to all 3 of my monitors, I'm sitting down, I'm getting work done. I'm doing my Excel spreadsheets, my payroll and everything else, right? When I get my PDFs, when I get my invoices from my vendors, I pull out my pen and I sign my invoices and I submit them. If I need to print something, I connect to my HP printer and I'm printing all my documents out. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting all that work done. You know what I'm saying? Running a complete business, right? Running a complete setup with a device that fits in your pocket. That's the replacement of stuff that I'm talking about. When I say, listen, I don't bring a laptop with me nowhere. Listen, this is the crazy thing about it, right? When I'm out and about, when I'm doing something and I'm at the coffee house, I'm doing business meetings and stuff like that, I do not bring my laptop no more. I don't bring it because I want the device that I have in my pocket to complete that task. I want the device in my pocket, so if I have an invoice that need my John Hancock on it, I need to sign it right on the spot. Yes, you can sign it with your finger and all that stuff like that, but what's the purpose of that? Why buy a $2,000 product when you don't have all those integrated features? Now, I think one of the biggest issues with the Google Pixel Fold, listen, I understand technology and things cost. I understand that. But at the same time, these devices are supposed to replace some of your devices. Listen, you're not, and I say this, the Galaxy Z Fold 4 or the Galaxy Folds is not the best at everything, but it's good at everything. And the Pixel Fold is not going to be the best at everything, and it's going to be good at what it's for. Right, you're gonna get a stock Android experience, and this is one of the reasons that I'm not all in on the Google Pixel Fold, right? Because when I get the Google Pixel Fold, it will never be my primary device because it don't replace nothing. That's the point. I'm looking for a device that's going to replace my current setup. That's my thing. And I haven't found a a complete setup that I could replace my current setup. Now, when I talk about Samsung, listen, I be hard on Samsung. I hold Samsung feet to the fire. When Samsung screw up, we talk about it. We give them the business, right? But at the end of the day, Samsung have some things that other companies don't have, right? And I understand that Motorola have Ready 4 and stuff like that, and I'm not into the Ready 4 ecosystem yet because I'm all into the Samsung business ecosystem right now. But I eventually, one time, I will try the Ready 4 setup. But for me, when I connect 3 monitors or 2 monitors to my device and I'm doing 2 different things or 3 different things at the same time, when I'm multitasking and I'm getting a lot of work done, I'm dragging and dropping, one spreadsheet to the next screen, and I'm doing the third screen to this screen, and I'm doing all this multitasking without a PC, and it's doing it flawlessly, and it's doing it well. It's very difficult to move to something that doesn't do that or better. Let me say this. I have my deck station over here, right? I got my deck station over here, and I'm able to connect multiple monitors, drag and drop, like real PC work. I have printers connected. I have I got my my other machine connected, right? When I want to do my shirts and stuff like that. I mean, I'm talking about a full workstation with printers, heat press machines. I got all kinds of software, cloud server software, all kinds of things connected via smartphone or via Samsung Tab S8, right? When we talk about cloud computing, running Windows 10 on a cloud and having multiple monitors connected, using the pen to sign your documents, using multiple monitors, dragging and dropping documents from one end to the next end, and you doing that flawlessly without no hesitation and no hiccups and no nothing like that. This is what you buy, foldables for. These is what you buy these high-end devices for, because these high-end devices eliminate stuff like laptops and computers and all kinds of stuff, because those items can be your one-stop shop to get it all done. And a lot of people, well, it don't run EXE programs. I can run EXE programs. I'm running cloud server programs, right? I'm running the cloud server. So yeah, I can run EXE programs. But what with apps and the suite of software and other things you can do, you don't need to run EXE programs. All my printer software is all apps. My cloud computing software is when I want to connect to my PC in my business. All different things like that. And of course, you could do some of those things on other devices, but the smooth and easy experience that I have set up with my Samsung devices, it makes it so easy, so just pure. And so what I want to see Google does, I want Google to do the same thing and better. I need Google to have pen support. I need Google to have wireless desktop support. I need Google to have, desktop support. These type of things is something that I need. And this is especially when you're spending, almost $2,000 for it, right? Yeah. So this is, listen, man, I look at, the Pixel 4 is going to be a great device, right? If you want to, take photos and watch videos and stuff like that, and run some apps and the Google ecosystem with controlling all your at home stuff. It's going to be great for that. The display is going to be great, stuff like that. Listen, I don't know if you want to buy a foldable for cameras, man. And that's I think a lot of people focusing. Oh my God, the Google Pixel 4 is going to have the best cameras. I mean, listen, man. I don't know if you're going to spend $2,000 for cameras, just go buy a professional camera. Well, easy, don't fit your pocket. Okay, well, I don't know, man. It's compromises. I mean, it's compromises. It is what it is, right? I mean, I would say buy a professional camera if you're gonna spend $2,000 just for cameras. Because I mean, if you want the phone aspect of it, you could buy a Pixel 7 for that. That's the thing, man. Like, I look at a lot of people, well, let's talk about it as far as the price. A lot of people say, well, easy, I ain't worried about the price. I'm just go trade in, right? I'm going to trade in my Pixel 7 Pro, or I'm going to trade in this to back the price down. But everybody don't have trade-ins. I'm not trading in nothing, so I'm looking at full MSRP, right? When I say $2,000, that's got to be my budget. I got to buy the device, and I have to buy a case. I can't buy the freaking device without a case. Who go carry around a near $2,000 device, all glass slab, without a case? So that has to be part of the budget. And I pay taxes. I don't know about y'all. I mean, I pay taxes on the device. So, I look at a lot of different aspects of it. Is the Google Pixel 4 going to be a fantastic phone, tablet? Yes, it will. I think these companies like Vivo and Oppo and all these, I think all these companies are doing the same thing and focusing on more of a person that want a tablet and a phone versus a user that wants, a desktop experience, want a writing experience and stuff like that. This is why I'm on this thing about Samsung putting a pin in the device. And at first, I'd say, well, you know what? The bigger pin is great. I don't mind having a bigger pin, but sometimes using bulky cases and stuff like that become a little cumbersome. So I think that Samsung need to have the pin in the device, especially when you're paying this type of money. I think a lot of people complaints about the Google Pixel 4 is it overpriced. But I mean, for what you get, right? I mean, you you basically get the stock Android device with great cameras that is gonna go into a 7.6-inch device, right? I mean, is that exciting? I mean, I don't know, man. I'm just looking at all aspects of this, right? Listen, I'm as a person that have all the Samsung phones from the very first Fold all the way to the Fold 4. A person that have, Galaxy devices and stuff like that. Listen, the Galaxy S23 Ultra is not my daily driver. The Galaxy S22 Ultra wasn't my daily driver. And so when I look at, devices that's trying to, give you a one-stop shop, I look at these expensive devices to try to give you a one-stop shop. Is the Google Pixel 4 going to give you a one-stop shop for people like myself? And listen, I gauge me looking at devices like Google Pixel 4s and Vivos and Oppos and stuff like that, these foldables. If I'm going to pay that type of money, I want that device to replace what I have. It has to be better than what I have. I'm not worried about no cameras, man. I got 5 professional cameras in my arsenal. Right? I have over 200 smartphones, and about 80% of them smartphones shoot great footage. So it's not worrying about the cameras are not at the top of my list, because every time we get a new device, everybody focused on camera. How many years have we keep on hearing the same crap about cameras? Everybody focused on camera. Listen, I've been grinding my gears listening to this camera debate for years. This camera gonna be great. This camera gonna be great. This camera gonna be great. Blind camera tests come out. All those great cameras get beat by a $200, $300 phone. So for years, we hear that these devices going to have the best camera. Listen, I'll go all the way back to 2015. We keep hearing this crap about these cameras. And every year when you see these blind camera tests, every year where people do it online versus even on YouTube or Twitter or Instagram or Facebook and all that there, your top dogs, the $2,000 phones never win. Even in my blind camera test, and I've done a few of them, the top dogs never win. They never win in blind camera tests. But as soon as you put a name at it, if you do a camera test and you put the name on that photo, the people go always pick the top dog. If I would have put the S23 Ultra on my blind camera test, or it wouldn't be blind at that point. If I would have put it on the photo, 99% of most people will probably pick the Galaxy S23 Ultra versus 2- and 3-year-old phones because they'd see the name. If it was the iPhone 14 Pro Max, they would have all picked that phone. They would have picked it because of the name. But when you take the name out of it and you have them have to visually look at the photo, visually look at the video, and visually look at the comparison between all the devices, then that's when the truth come out. The truth doesn't lie. The eyes doesn't lie. The name on the photo will lie to you. So when we talk about cameras, listen, cameras have got so good. I made a camera test with a Note 9, and people were shell-shocked on how good that footage was, how good the video was, how good the photos was. Even in the nighttime photos, we talk about a device that's been out for years, still whipping ass and taking names. Listen, I put in, old devices. I like to do this. I have so many phones, right? So I pull out phones and I try my best to mix it up a little bit. Listen, a lot of people hate me for doing these old versus new videos, right? I pull out a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old phone and put it against current devices. And sometimes the current devices get smoked. But why is that? Because it's marketing hype and manipulation that's going on right now. You guys believe with this narrative that newer is better. But I always talk about fine wine age with time. Older devices, 1-year, 2-year-old, 3-year-old devices have seen a slew of updates that made them better. The newer devices come out, they need those type of updates that the older devices have got. They got better, so those devices kind of reset. So just say devices like the Galaxy S23 Ultra. The Galaxy S23 Ultra will be better in 3 years versus today. Think about this. I want y'all to listen to me very carefully. The Galaxy S23 Ultra will be better in 3 years than today. I'm going to tell you why. It's because of the updates and the enhancements and everything. So is it good today? Yes, it is. But 3 years from now, it's going to be even better. So that's what happened with 3-year-old phones. Galaxy S21s and, the Galaxy Note 20s. And when you talk about some of the older devices, they get better with age. Don't let nobody fool you and tell you that these devices don't get better with age, because they do. They get better with new updates and enhancements and stuff like that. They get better with age and time. A lot of people always focus on the new, latest, and greatest. These companies want your money. Don't give it to them, baby. All right, listen, I would say this before I leave out here, right? That the Pixel Fold will probably drop down the price relatively quick. It will be cheap. Listen, I wouldn't pay $1,700 for it. Wait a month, it's gonna be $1,999 in about a month, month or two. I would wait and get it then. I ain't paying $1,700 for it. I'm not paying $1,700 for it. It's go gracefully drop, just like the Pixel 6a and the Pixel 7a and all of them. They go gracefully drop. All right, let's get out of here. Yes, indeed. Another episode of the Tech Preacher Podcast. Boy, I talk so long. Boy, I tell you. Woo. Boy, don't time go by quick? Thank y'all guys very much. Listen, when I do these podcasts, it's unscripted. It's my thoughts, right? And this is why I do these podcasts. These podcasts don't have anything. I just pick a subject and I just talk about it. That's it. I just pick a subject and talk about it. Whether or not you like it or not, that's what it is. It's my thoughts. Whether or not I'm right or wrong, it don't matter. It's my thoughts. Right. And so this is my thoughts when I do these podcasts. And listen, I really appreciate everybody for listening to these podcasts. I appreciate y'all guys for coming and joining me on this mission. I appreciate y'all guys for getting your popcorn ready, baby. All right, I'm out of here. Thank y'all guys very much for another episode of the Tech Preacher Podcast. Same bat place, same bat time. Go check it out. That's what I'm talking about. Later, baby. Oh! Oh, yeah. Come on, turn that up, baby. Ow! Thank y'all. I'm out.